The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Georgia.
I thank the chair. I think Ms. Bono Mack is getting to the heart of the issue on the peer-to-peer legislation. If I could reframe the issue, we want to fix what's broke with this system. There is stuff out there that's inside this legislation's definition of peer-to-peer file sharing program that is malicious. There is stuff out there that's inside this definition that is perfectly benign. Mr. Holliman and Mr. Sohn, I'm going to pitch this one in y'all's direction. How would y'all define what we're getting at in such a way as to stop the bad stuff and allow all the other stuff to continue without having to have a proliferation of warnings and opt-outs that basically hobble this technology before it can even get started? Who wants to take a shot at how you would define this in order to be able to reach the stuff we want to reach?
I'll start on that, Mr. Barrow. In our testimony, we've actually listed 5 ways in which we would modify the definition in the bill, and believe that if those types of changes are made, that would be useful and would help it preserve the intent of the bill, including looking at the type of purposes that the peer-to-peer file sharing program is typically used for, going at many of those things like copyright infringements, which are a huge source of concern to.
Is that an effective way of defining it, though, so that the regulators can get at what's going on, and so the technology?
We actually think that the regulators would, their hand would be strengthened by more precision in the definition rather than the breadth that's in there currently.
Mr. Sohn, what do you think?
I also set forth in my testimony some ideas on that point of how you might make this more narrow and apply to what we think of as file sharing software. I agree with Mr. Lafferty's testimony that the key here really isn't peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer is a kind of architecture. It's really about file sharing functions that could enable documents and other kinds of files on a user's local computer to be made available to third parties in bulk, and third parties that haven't been selected or aren't even known to the user. And so we proposed 4 bullet points of items that we think could be in a definition, but it tends to focus on that, the ability to share files with unknown parties with no intervening action or knowledge or selection by the user in terms of who that file will be shared with.
Mr. Chairman, my time has expired, but I'd like to ask the witness to go beyond that and actually be prepared to work with counsel on our staff to see if we can actually come up with some concrete language to accomplish this. Thank you. I yield the mic.